something remarkable is happening. About 5 hours' drive from Cape Town, in a town called George, alcohol, tobacco and drug addicts are coming together as activists to stop the damages caused by substances in their communities. This is a story of addiction, but it is also a story of hope. This network of activists, social workers and healthcare practitioners have started a movement called Sahara, and they have a multifaceted plan that could be the game changer in the fight against substance use. Sahara works primarily in the areas of Thembaletu and Pakelsdorp, both a few kilometers outside of George. Terosha Jacobs, or TJ, is a recovering drug addict and activist from Pakelsdorp.
I could express myself more in Sahara, I could share my poetry, I could show a very dark side of myself and I wasn't judged for it.
For victims of addiction like TJ, Sahara support groups create a space free from the stigma that often stops addicts from seeking help. Every week, support groups are led by trained members of the community. These meetings constitute the psychotherapy part of the treatment.
Dit is van my net 'n roeping amper, wil ek sê, om hier te kan wees, om vir ander ouers daar te wees.
En vir 'n vrou is dit 2 keer moeilik, want daar is stigma op vrouens net wat te veel alcohol gebruik. Die algemene gevoel is, mans kan drink.
In die verlede kon ons aparte blameer vir die situasie waarin ons bevind. Maar deesdae moet ons onsself blameer.
The group members tell harrowing stories of how they had been kicked out of their homes, lost their jobs, messed up cars, and almost died because of their substance use.
I took one day actually, and I decided, this is not a life. Our kids love me to bits. They're very happy that I'm no longer drinking anymore. They are not afraid to be in the home on the weekends, because the weekends they would prefer to be in a pen because they know, the problem is here.
TJ has big plans for Sahara to use social media to mobilize the community.
Growing Sahara to bring the youth closer and also to say that you can be yourself. Yeah? I mean, the community, they look at a drug addict and they think that you're not a human being anymore. I mean, I still have a fingerprint. I still went to Sunday school. I'm still a person. I still have talents. I still have ambitions. I still have, things that normal people has. So I think Sahara's going to bring that out of us.
Sahara sees addiction as a medical, social, and political issue.
Sahara is an activist organization. And a lot of people that feel comfortable in Sahara come from an activist background, often from the anti-apartheid struggle, where we fought against racism, capitalism, and it's a continuation of, a struggle for health.
Through its wide array of projects, Sahara aims to gradually restructure the landscape of substance use disorder, especially in communities that simply cannot afford to deal with the consequences. As a result of the easy access kids have to substances in Thembaletu, the community suffers from high rates of teenage violence and schools are becoming increasingly dangerous. Temenkosi Matawa is a community activist from Thembaletu.
The youth of Thembaletu doesn't have anything to do. Firstly, they are inactive and the only thing that they are exposed to is alcohol, drugs, and they smoke a lot.
Drunken people, kids are exposed to those people. They go out, they urinate anywhere, and the children are there, watching all those funny things on the street. And it's where the kids are playing.
In my ward, I saw 3 people being brutally killed by mob. They were high, they entered another person's house, they raped that person, so they ended up being killed.
When the community meets to discuss this, there's a lot of anger expressed against the youth that is out of control and against the parents that don't control the youth and against the school that is not allowed to give corporal punishment. But nobody seems to target the anger against the culprit, which is the people who deal with drugs and with alcohol in the community.
Dr. Luvo Mbobo is a medical doctor at George Hospital. In 2018, he helped Sahara by investigating the problematic sale of alcohol in Thembaletu.
I basically wanted to understand
what was the depth of the problem. I basically tried to map out how many taverns we actually have in Thembalethu.
Dr. Mbobo found that a disproportionate amount of liquor outlets operate in the residential areas of Thembalethu, often without sufficient licensing or regulation by authorities.
Generally, the community is very scared to speak out against tavern owners. Tavern owners are very powerful people in our community, rich people, often earning more than one business.
And even with the liquor board, they never dare to check and verify. For example, if one applies for a license, the municipality is supposed to be involved, the community is supposed to be involved, but that is not happening. There are a lot of taverns that were open without the community being involved. Most of them, the municipality has never been involved. We have tried to follow with the municipality to see who is supposed to be doing this, but there are no proper bylaws within the George community. So the municipality is failing the people.
And we often see collusion between members of the police force and the taverns. And it leaves the communities disempowered because the communities say, well, if the police gives them a license, who are we to challenge the license?
The problem is that we never united as a community and actually stand and do something. We are advocates for the community, but at the end of the day, we don't stay in the community. It's difficult for the communities to trust us because sometimes it seems like we are pushing our personal agendas. So when do we start is that we get the community buy-in.
Through mobilizing the community and engaging with authorities, Sahara ensured the closure of Isibaya Groove Lounge, which they had identified as the most problematic in the area. Neurologically speaking, children are far more vulnerable to addiction than adults.
I see a lot of young kids every day who use tech, who use data, and who don't really see hope. Because Thembalethu itself is a stressed community.
As Sahara's youth coordinator, Kwanda runs 2 youth centers in Thembalethu, keeping young boys occupied when they're not in school.
We believe youth is the leaders of tomorrow, but it doesn't start tomorrow, it starts now, whereby if we build strong leaders today for tomorrow, that's why we believe that they need to be a youth support group, a youth places whereby they can be motivated to take responsibility and be an example today for tomorrow.
In 1998, Iceland had an underage drinking rate of 42%, but within 17 years, they were able to reduce it to 5% by implementing curfews, extramural activities, and educational programs. Inspired by the Iceland program, Sahara, in collaboration with the Departments of Health, Education, and Cultural Affairs and Sport, is in the process of implementing an extensive youth program called Planet Youth in 2020.
We're 100% behind Planet Youth. It might be the game changer that changes the landscape of making a real difference in the lives of children and the community at large in Thembalethu.
I believe that if in 5 years or 4 years, we can see a lot of great leaders coming out of Thembalethu, children who are proud to be part of the community, that would be the best.
Dr. Reuter visits the support groups with a large cooler box stocked with medication, paid for by Sahara's own funds. During the sessions, he provides information on the medication available.
There's guidelines to use them, but the guidelines have been implemented in any Department of Health institution. So we are very keen to link our social movement with the medical intervention.
By mobilizing addicts, Sahara is advocating for the medicine to be made available for free at local clinics.
You see a lot of excuses of they're not effective enough and they're too expensive and we can't afford and our pharmacy budget is already overspent. My answer is, how can we afford not to provide these medicines?
On average, it costs about 6,000 Rand for a smoker to stop smoking and 3,500 Rand for a drinker to stop drinking, a fraction of the cost of dealing with the health effects of these substances.
If other countries, if USA says they don't have money to deal with the complications, they have to provide the medication. How can we be so arrogant and say we've got enough money to deal with the complications and allow people to suffer with cancer, allow people to suffer with getting amputations because of smoking, allow people to get heart attacks because of smoking, allow people to get strokes and suffer long years with the hemiparesis, all complications that could be prevented by giving up smoking medication.
Sahara, it's something better. It's something better than the government that we have now. Sahara can bring change to one's life, to one's health, to one's thinking order, to one's education. Sahara is a very good platform, and we wish that all of us can think of that. Think about your health first, think about your future, think about your community, then everything will automatically run itself. Sahara is that to me